Said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic. Somebody hand me a mic. Cause I got to say something, so just hand me a mic. When I need to say something, better hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic.
So here's a thing. COVID's back.
COVID's back.
COVID is back, mate. Swear down.
Gee.
I've not seen it on the news.
No, I haven't seen this on the news.
It's going to be a tough sell, isn't it? This
still,
time around.
What, we're still on COVID-19?
I don't know what number we're on now, but I'm hearing...
It's on the rise.
Yeah, that they're talking about, like... I'm hearing a lot of people online saying there's going to be another pandemic and they're going, you know, this. Do you know what? Like, good luck with that. Like, good luck selling that.
Pushing us through all that process again. Nah,
I don't think so. It's not going to work, is it? Of course, there'll be some people that'll play the game, but...
You know, I feel like we're seeing it just in the little time that we had in 2020 when between like the first lockdown and like the second and third. I think the first one, there was kind of a novelty behind it. Like, oh, this is different. Let's get behind it and we'll go and stand outside and we'll clap for the NHS and we'll do all that.
Smash a pan, yeah.
Yeah. And then the second lockdown, people were a bit like, oh, all right, we'll fucking not go to restaurants and shit. And then by the third one, people were like, fuck this. And they fucking hated it, you know? And I feel like, yeah, if they go back and try and do another one now, the novelty's gone. People are going to hate it. It's not going to work, is it?
Knowing what you know now, I'm interested. Would you, if you could be blessed with all the knowledge that you have now, you've watched everything unfold, everybody's got a different opinion. I'm not pushing mine on anybody. But would you take the vaccines?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Even after everything that's been said about them?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. I personally wouldn't have took the vaccines.
Right.
I believe that there was a danger of them hurting you more than COVID. That's what...
Potentially. I think it depends on the vaccine that you're taking as well. Like, I think, you know, Pfizer seemed safe as houses. My brother had AstraZeneca and he was put in hospital.
Was he?
Yeah. Nearly had a heart attack, the boy. So like, yeah, I think, you know, to an extent there was probably a race to get them out as quickly as possible, and they probably could have took the time on them a little bit more and just did a bit more testing on some of them. But like, you know, I took this vaccine. I have not had COVID yet. Literally haven't had it. I've had colds and stuff, and I've tested every time I've had a cold, but never come back positive to say I've had COVID. Never had it.
No.
And whether that comes down to the vaccine or whether I've just been lucky, I don't know. But like, literally jab in the arm. I might have had a dead arm for a day. I think the second vaccine I had when I got the booster, I had chills on the night. Fine, lasted 10 minutes, whatever. And then I've been fine. And I've been living a very happy, normal, healthy, fine life. So if that's all it takes, just for either the government or the NHS to be like, aye, we're you know, doing a bit and he's not spreading the vaccine or the not spreading the disease as much. I'm just like, sound, I'll go along with it. You know, I think a lot of people put fear in it. Like obviously there's horror stories with like what I've just described with the AstraZeneca where, you know, there are medical complications that could come around because everybody's different and, you know, these things can react to people in different ways. But, you know, some people go on to the fucking crazy extreme of it where they say like, oh, they're tracking you. They're trying to find out what, the government's stealing your information by putting this stuff in your body. And that stuff's all fucking wild to me. I'm just like, no, just get the fucking vaccine and get it done with.
No, I can't see it.
That's my position on it.
I think where I stood with it was, like everybody, when it first started, I admit I was terrified of this COVID thing. Like, obviously, we were just getting our information from the news. We didn't have the privilege of the past 3 years at that point. I was terrified. And first things first, I couldn't wait for a vaccine to be made because I truly believed everybody was going to die. I thought this was Armageddon for about 6 weeks, you know. I thought this is the end of the planet.
It was massive. It was mega.
Yeah, but then, you know, slowly but surely, bits of information started coming out, like, just hang fire a minute. But what I was aware of is, you know, the whole thing that you couldn't travel without the vaccines?
Yeah.
That was my motivation after I realized, okay, look, like I'm pretty healthy. It'd be nasty to get it. You might get ill, but you're probably not going to die.
Yeah, we would be fine, yeah.
Yeah. That took about 6 weeks to go from you're definitely going to die if you get it to, oh, you'll be poorly, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But then it was all about traveling. So I couldn't wait to get these injections, these vaccines. I wrongly predicted that like this was just going to be something that was going to go on forever, and like you would have to have these vaccines to travel. So I went through 1, I went through 2, I got the 3rd. Like I couldn't wait to get them in me.
Yeah.
I thought I was tricking the system. I thought, haha, you know,
Boxed off. Done.
yeah, boxed
Don't worry
off.
about
I'm
it.
going to be sound. I'm going to be free. But with, you know, looking at the past 3.5 years now, with what I know to be fact, there's still opinions on whatever. So as far as I'm, you know, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these points, but this is what I understand to be a fact. Number 1, it wasn't the disease, if you want to call it that, wasn't as dangerous to everybody as we initially thought it was. So what I mean by that is it was portrayed, I'm not saying they did anything wrong, it could just be that that's what they believed then. I'm not saying, you know, it might be that we were getting duped, but it might just be an honest mistake. It might just be like misjudged. But we now know for a fact, and I don't think that's disputable, that COVID isn't actually dangerous to the vast majority of people.
It was the elderly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or people with respiratory diseases.
On the whole. But we didn't know that at the beginning.
I guess not.
It certainly wasn't as highlighted as much. It was known to be a killer disease, and it was killing millions and millions and millions of people, or whatever it was, like loads of people.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I don't think it was going to be dangerous to me. And 2, these vaccines that were pushed out it started out as these basically save your life. And then not only save your life, they save the lives of the people that you love. That's the way it was pushed.
Yeah.
That if you don't get this, you might die. And not only that, it's selfish not to get it because you might give this disease to somebody else and they might die.
Yeah.
That's the way it was sort of pushed.
Yeah.
Turns out that's not the case, as it would happen.
Is it not?
They don't prevent transmission.
Yeah.
That's just a scientific fact. Like that is proven now scientifically.
Yeah.
You know, I think there were statistics at the beginning of these are 99% effective, and then it went down to like 80% effective. Then it was like maybe the 30% effective. The goalpost changed a lot.
I guess so.
Yeah. So, and the third prong in it all is I guess it's part of the same one, is, I don't know if it's a coincidence, right? Because I'm a smoker. But I seem to remember that my breathing was bang tidy before COVID, right?
Okay.
And I feel that after them COVID jabs, I've never been the same since, breathing-wise. I ran out of breath a lot.
Did you ever have COVID?
I don't know. I never tested.
Yeah.
You know, I felt there was a time during when it was all going around when I couldn't taste anything for about a week. Like, it was so weird.
You potentially could have had it then.
Yeah.
So, you know, you might be saying, oh, the vaccines have done this, but it could have been COVID did this to you.
Maybe.
Just saying.
But it could have been the vaccine.
You know, you're making observations and drawing lines, but
True.
you know, just be careful where you're drawing them lines,
True.
because
I don't know. I don't know. But certainly now, I feel my respiratory system is a lot worse than it was before. A lot worse. Like I run out of breath now.
Yeah.
Could be that smoking just caught you at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
Could be. You know. It's a coincidence though.
I mean,
You know. I don't know.
you could always stop smoking and find out.
You could. But
Or maybe the damage is done. Who knows?
maybe the damage is done. But
Well, the NHS say here, I'm not trying to scare you, Daniel, but it says you should seek medical advice urgently after a vaccination if you're experiencing chest pain, shortness of breath, or feelings of a fast heartbeat, fluttering, or a pounding heart.
to be fair, if every single symptom you Google, you'd be in hospital every day.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that, mate.
You got a itch in your elbow and it's like, oh mate,
Yeah,
testicular
cancer,
cancer, mate. You're gonna die.
Yeah, don't Google anything, mate. It's just nonsense, you know. No, I don't believe any of it. But look, I'm saying that the vaccines might have had some benefit to some people in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
In actual fact, I'm certain it did. Okay. I'm just saying that given all the information that I've taken in, and I've listened to both sides,
Yeah.
I've got a mother who was an extreme believer, as I would call her. She worked in the hospital. She's seen these things. Like my mum assures me that no, this was killing people. My mum had a nervous breakdown off the back of this,
Oh, it
right?
would have been an absolute war zone to work in.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have liked to have gone through it.
Medical profession at that time would have been fucking hell.
It sounds bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, off the back of that, my mum stopped working in the hospital after that. Do you know what I mean? It was that bad. But
come on, surely you see that between then and now, that isn't, I mean, there's still a hell of a strain on the NHS, but it's not necessarily just because of COVID these days.
No.
And probably to a massive percentage decrease since then and now.
There was definitely...
And you would imagine that that's not just because people have grown an immunity, that'll be because of the vaccines, you know?
Well, herd immunity is a thing as well.
Yeah,
That's the other part. I don't think it's any one thing. I think there's a load of things going on, man. Like, I don't know this to be true, but like, I've heard people, stats online saying like the same year or months COVID was kicking off, like nobody was diagnosed with flu. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know that to be true, but you know, it's funny. Well, at the same time, COVID came about, nobody had flu anymore. It's not true, is it? Like, everybody gets, flu happens every year.
Yeah.
Listen, I know there was definitely a virus. It was a nasty one and all. I just think it was a bad flu. That's what I think. I think it was a bad flu, a particularly bad flu.
Yeah.
And flu.
Yeah, it was. It was a strain of flu called COVID-19. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think it was a killer disease.
I think it was to the elderly.
So it's flu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why flu jabs are around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a bad one.
I don't think the flu jabs were touching COVID though. That's why it was a pandemic.
It was definitely something went about. Definitely a nasty cold. It was worth, you got to think though, like, fair enough, we're young people. We could have got COVID and we would have been fine. But I could have got COVID, and then if everything was just still open, there was no lockdown, and I just went around to see my mum and dad for a bit, could have gave them it both, and they could have died. Could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were vulnerable. And they had health problems, underlying health problems. Yeah, they could have, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So that's the way to look at it, I think. Like, I don't look at it for, like, I think it would be selfish for us to say, I'm fine. I want to go out to the restaurant, so they should still be fucking open. Like, lock the whole thing down and keep the older population safe. I think it doesn't seem like a bad thing. The bother is, and I think that, when you start this conversation, the point of the matter is it was pretty fucking tedious, that whole lockdown situation. Although actually first lockdown was mint because it was summertime. But depending on what time of year it happens, I think it's going to be difficult to get people on board with it.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially not even just because of the whole, like, is the vaccine worth it or X, Y, and Z? Because of, like, the way that the politicians handled it and stuff like that. Bojo's still having his parties and shit like that. The government starts telling you to do anything, the public's going to be like, fucking hang on a tick.
Well, listen.
I will if you will.
My mother was the biggest COVID believer out of everybody I met at the time. My mum was bang into COVID, like extremist, but she wouldn't have another vaccine. No. Not after what's come out. No.
Really?
It's almost not. It's almost like not effective, and it's not been tested. Like, I don't know. I think you're as much risk taking the vaccine that hasn't got any research on it as you are taking your chances with COVID. Do you know what I mean? I think it's
50-50.
I think so, yeah. Like, look, if I could go back, I wish I never had them vaccines.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, but I didn't know that at the time.
Got you into Brazil, though, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it got me into a few places.
Yeah,
exactly.
So fuck it. It's a 50-50 chance, mate. You may as well just shoot your shot and get yourself abroad.
Look, at the end of the day, that it's true. Listen, them vaccines got me on some holidays that I wouldn't have been able to go on.
Exactly.
I know people that didn't get them and they weren't allowed to go anywhere for years. Yeah, mad. It was fun. I can remember this one time going to Spain. I can't remember what year it was, but it was while COVID was like a thing. I remember going to Spain and like there was this like mad situation where the day before we were leaving, I had to call a doctor, like everybody had to do this, and this like nothing to do with the hotel or like what I was on. Like a local doctor, a local Spanish doctor had to come to my hotel room and do a COVID test on me there and then to say that I didn't have COVID so that I could get on my flight and come home. He had to test negative, basically.
Yeah.
Very surreal.
That's weird.
That's very weird. But that was going like, that was everywhere. You know? Yeah, I tell you this one time where I might have had COVID or I might have just been taking some kind of gym substance, but I went to...
One of the two.
It might be the coat I was wearing. So I don't know really.
What?
Well, let me explain, right? Let me explain a situation where was I going?
Could have been COVID or it could have been the coat you were wearing.
I'll explain more.
Yeah, I need this.
I was going to Spain again, and it was during the COVID time, right? It was during the time where like they were still big on all that, right? And I don't think I tested, but this is what I remember, right? You know when you get off the plane, it was winter time, right? So I got to Spain in winter time. I went to Madrid, right?
Lovely.
And it was cold. Yeah, it was real cold. I think it was near Christmas time, I think. Yeah, it was. And I had, you know what a Montclair coat is?
I don't.
It's like a big, like, down puffer jacket. Like
Okay.
a big Arctic jacket.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Okay.
Like when I left England, like it was like -5 or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Montclair
One
jacket.
of them jollies.
Chavvy as hell.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love them though. So I had, that's my coat, that. So I had my Montclair on, okay? And I got off the plane at the other end I'm sure it was Madrid, could be wrong. I think it was Madrid. Anyway, I'm stood in the queue and it's that bit, you know where you come off the plane and you have to like go through like the passport control bit, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the time when they're like still sticking things up people's noses. Did you know about this or not?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I remember stood in this queue and I seen a screen as I was getting closer. I couldn't see that far ahead because I was like at the back of the queue. I got off the plane last, right? And as I was going down the queue, I kept looking up at this screen and you could see loads of green dots on this screen. And as I got closer, I noticed it was a camera of us all in the queue of the people that got off the plane. And as I'm like, I was just thinking it's mental. Like, anyway, I'm getting down this queue. And I'm like, keep looking back at this camera, seeing if I can see myself, you know what I mean? Just stick my tongue out or something, do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah, see how I look, you know what I mean?
Everyone does that when they see a CCTV screen.
Yeah, of course. You look at yourself, don't you?
We're all big kids, really.
How am I doing, you know? And I looked, and as I was getting closer, I seen a big red dot on it, right? And I was thinking, fuck's that red dot? So the queue gets down and down and down. And as I get to like 3 or 4 from my turn to do the passport, bear in mind, I was at the back of the queue. I look up, and now I can clearly see this big telly screen. And what it's done is it's highlighting people's body temperature, right?
Okay.
Everyone's green except some person who's bright red. And it's me, right?
Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden, at that point, I didn't feel particularly hot. But at that very moment, I went red hot. Because I'll tell you for why.
You figured it out because you've got a raised temperature. They're going to think you've got the old Rona.
A little side note here. If you have COVID, they took you to quarantine, right? I was only on a few-day trip. I didn't have 2 weeks to quarantine. Like, I knew that, hang on a minute, if they get me here for having COVID, I'm basically getting taken somewhere to some hotel where I have to stay. Like I'm looking over the other side here. There's border control. There's fellas with rifles. Like, I ain't getting out of this. Like, this is serious. You know what I mean? Like,
You can't leg it because they've got rifles.
So all of a sudden, and at this very moment, like, everything's like running through my head, and I'm like, huh. And I'm like, looking at the perimeters, thinking, right, okay, think about this. I thought, well, first things first, divvy, you've got a big coat on. So I took my coat off. Do you know what I mean? So I held my coat. Realised at that point, I was sweating. Like, I was soaking wet. Like, it just, because I knew what all of a sudden that this was me, it just all of a sudden got worse. And I can remember feeling like literal beads of sweat coming down my face. And I'm thinking, Daniel, you are not helping yourself here, mate. And I keep looking up. And then obviously, because I was going away, I've been on the sunbeds a lot. So I'm bright red, right? And I'm looking up and I'm like, it's all like happening quick. You know what I mean? And I can see there's a passport control people who's checking passports, But on the other side of them, there's like a nurse's bench, right? And I'm looking, and they've got a screen, this screen, right? So they've been watching this red dot come down this queue, right? Now, as I'm looking through, I can't see them. They're sat at a desk, and I can just see their hands like through the diagonal thing, but I can see on an angle a screen. And all of a sudden, it's all just clocked what's going on here. And I'm like, oh no, like this is going to go wrong here. So I get to my go. Passport. I mean, I'm in panic mode. My head's racing. I'm trying to think of a way. How am I going to get out of this? I get through. As soon as I walk through, excuse me, straight away. These nurses all thingied up, right? So there's guards against the wall. They're just watching. They're not getting involved. They're just watching what's going on, being guards and that. You know what I mean? I'm not getting aimed at now. No. And this Spanish woman takes me, says, excuse me, no, you need to come this way. So all these people are like, I can see my plane passengers walking down this like long corridor.
Aside from the raised temperature, did you have anything else? You weren't like coughing or anything like noticeably? You just seemed sound?
No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no. I take a substance called clenbuterol. It raises your body temperature a bit. Yeah. It's like I guess it's like a fat burner, I guess. It does raise your temperature a little bit.
Yeah.
I do take that. I mean, for the most part, I'm always stressed anyway. You know, I'm on the sunbed all the time, so I'm always bright red anyway. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so this woman, and I'm like, oh no. So this nurse woman, takes me aside, and she takes me to a door that's like, it's already open. It's like on the latch open. And she says, you need to go down there. And I look down this thing, and I can see at the bottom, you know them like nurse curtains, like from like the olden days. It looks like, it's on like a wheel, but it's a curtain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can wheel it around.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is around the COVID time and all that. So these were quite familiar things around that time. You sort of been seeing these a lot in like doctors and on the telly and stuff. I knew what I was looking at. I knew what was going on. Down there was a COVID tester. Do you know what I mean? I knew what was going on. She said, you need to go down there. And I'm obviously, okay, but my head's just looking for like a solution to this problem. Because I know if I go down here, like, I don't know, but there's a chance I'm going to get flashed for COVID. I didn't know whether I had COVID.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I was bright red, and I was on the temperature thing and said it was hot. Obviously, I was aware that
there's like theories going around, I feel like, about like these tests, and like sometimes it's just like if for whatever reason the test's dodgy, it could give you a false positive.
Oh yeah. I mean, these tests weren't foolproof.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sticking something up your nose.
I'm sure there was like kids getting weeks off school because they were putting orange juice in the fucking thing. Yeah.
Of course, you heard it all. But anyway, so as I'm, all of a sudden, the corridor must have been maybe 20 meters long, right? So I've started walking down this corridor, and I'm thinking, this is it, yeah. You're fucked. And as I get halfway down, I've got halfway down the corridor, and I can't see the nurses yet, right? I can just still see the thingies. And I look back around, so I look behind me, and the nurse has just sent me down that corridor, is not there anymore. She's just directed me.
Yeah.
And I can see the people who were on the plane, the passengers behind me, walking the way I wanted to go, towards the terminal, their baggage thing. So I just do an about face, and I walk back the way I came, right?
Just to see if the nurse...
Yeah, and I think, as I'm getting closer, I'm thinking, just blatantly walk out like there's no problem. As I get to the door, I have the brainwave to start going as if someone's just been up my nose, right? So, like, I know, black artist there. So I walked out, and I didn't look. I thought, do not look left, do not look right, because it looks suspicious. Just fiddle with your nose and get in the queue.
Confidently,
There was only like a meter between this corridor and the queue. So I don't know if anybody saw me. But all I know is I just jumped in the queue and just started walking with everybody. Obviously, I'm just listening and just thinking, don't turn around. Do you know what I mean? And walking down. And after about 15 seconds, I can't hear anything. And I think, turn around. So I go, and I look. No one's looking at me. They haven't followed me, right?
Did you get away with this?
Well, something else happened.
Oh, no.
So I'm walking down, right? And I'm walking down, and I'm literally thinking, you legend.
God.
I'm thinking, you've just tricked the Spanish authorities. And I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, international here, Mr. International.
Oh, my God.
I felt like a king, right? So at this point in time, I'm like, I just thought, oh, yes. Like, yes, more sun. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, get in. Walking down. And I'm walking down. Airports are long, right? So this walk was like 2 minutes. It was like the best walk ever. I was like walking on air, but my legs, like when you're really scared, your legs got the jelly. So I felt like I was doing like a Mr. Soft walk. So I was still in panic mode. I could see the the baggage thing. It started moving around already. Uh-huh. This was like a late night flight. So the baggage was obviously straight off the plane and straight onto the spinny round thing. There was no one, just our plane was getting off. It was like landed at like 1:00 in the morning. It was one of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anyway, as I'm getting there, I can see it in the distance. I can see the baggage thing. And I'm thinking, so I've weighed up things, right? So, okay, there's the baggage thing. There's my suitcase. It's somewhere on there. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking and I've looked over there. There's the exit. 2 more guards stood with guns. They're just talking shit to each other. They don't
even know what you look like. So you'll be fine.
So I'm sound. And I'm like, well, as far as everybody knows, I've just gone down there and done that and been sound because I've been pulled. They let me back out as far as everyone knows. Anyway, not looking, I just got my eye on the prize, eye on the baggage thing, right? Walking, all of a sudden I hear, excuse me. And I went, oh no. And I looked to the right and there's another 2 women with the same fucking screen. The same people. It's like a double barrier. So they're doing you up there. But as I've been walking down, I've put my fucking coat on and that. Do you know what I mean? I've bossed it, me, But because I've been walking down, my temperature's gone up. Because I've been like shitting myself. You know what I mean? So I'm like, so I'm probably even hotter now than I was up there. And I've been like power walking. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Anyway, excuse me. And I look again and I'm like, oh, no. Right? And like this. These aren't nurses. These have high vises on, right? Now, this has got close quarters. There's this desk here with these 2 people, high vises on. And I've gone and I've looked. And the guards have now looked. So there's 2 Spanish guards stood there. There's actually 3, 2 together and 1 further down. They are now all looking this way. And I'm thinking, well, you can't fuck this off. So I was like, Daniel, in my head, I just thought like, you need to come up with something again. So I just span back around, walked towards him. And I just thought, how are you going to play this? And it just eureka moment. I just thought, the best form of defense is attack. That's what I thought. So as I walked up to them, she said, I just literally thought, think Oscar winning, right? So I just looked at her and I said, what? And she said, and she was saying, you need to go get tested. And I said, I just have. So I'm saying, I've just been down the corridor. I said, she's just put the thing up my nose. I made it look angry and believable. Do you know what I mean? I said, I'm not again. I have. She did. Said, fine. I just been. I said, you want me to go again? And she like looked at her friend and I said, behave. I said, they just tested me. I said, all is fine. I've just been tested. Can I get my bags, please? And they look at each other and I just pull the whole ridiculous and like shake my head and walk off. Yeah, I did like one of them. And I thought, this is probably not going to work, this, mate. And I've walked, quickly eye contact to the guards. They're all like now just stood with their arms crossed, like looking. And I'm thinking, any second, you're going to hear something. Any second. And I just thought, so I'm just thinking, keep the character up. So I'm just walking, mumbling, saying, this is fucking ridiculous, like stupid, like this. And I'm like shaking my head at him. And I'm thinking, just keep playing it. Anyway, I go stand at the baggage thing. I don't turn around, right? I just stand, get my phone out, pretend I'm looking at my phone. Just thinking any minute you're going to feel somebody. Any minute somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder. Anyway, that couple of minutes seemed like a day.
Yeah,
eventually I see my case. I'd control my breathing a bit. Thought just calm. Because if you look angry and frustrated, like and flustered,
they're going to know something's
it's going to look worse. So by then I'd calm and I thought, right, it's time for the fake phone call. So I grabbed my bag, because obviously I've got to pass these people, right? So I grab my bag, put it down, go tick, tick, lift the thing up, and I get my phone and I say, hello, like that. And I was like, oh, hello. And I started pulling my case. And you walk with your case. And I'm looking down at the floor and I'm having this complete fake conversation going, no way. No, what time? No, he did. What, with you? But I was on my A game. And as I walked down, you walk in like, all right, okay, yeah, I won't be long, it'll be half an hour. I just go, zoop, quickly look to the left at the high vis girls. They both just sat looking at me. And then I just give them a snarl. You know what I mean? And I think, last people. And I like, quickly look up, you know, the two guards, they've started talking to each other again. They ignore me.
Yeah.
And I just walked straight out the door and got outside. And literally, I remember standing outside with a cigarette just going, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Yeah, I blagged it though.
That's amazing that you got away with
Yeah,
that.
blagged it though. Got out. Listen, when you're in those situations, you have to think fast. You know what I mean? You do not want to get locked in a Spanish whatever for 2 weeks in what was it called? Quarantine.
Yeah, I guess not.
I was meeting somebody in an hour. Do you know what I mean? My friend was waiting for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no, man, that wasn't on the itinerary. You know? Well, yeah, lucky like.
Great effort. I mean, you know, the other way it could have went is you could have had the vaccine, the COVID test, and would have been like, oh no, you haven't got it.
You taking that chance?
And then
If you can help it, you know. I tell you what, you know.
I don't know, because the way that you went, right, it could have, if it backfired, right, say you went through all that thing and you did your best Daniel Day-Lewis and you're like, but tried to fuck it off, and then they made you sit down and do a test anyway.
Yeah,
you would have
I know.
been so embarrassed, man. I would have been fucking mortified.
God loves
Never
a trier.
gone back to Spain.
No, it was worth it. And you know, at that time, that was the time. Remember, like in Dash Media, like we went through there was like a craze where everybody at Dash figured out that they could say they had COVID and have 2 weeks off work. Remember that? That went on for like a year. I loved that time. Everybody at our work was like, hang on a minute, I just have tested positive and I hadn't sit at home for 2 weeks. It'd be amazing how quick developers fucking have COVID. I've never met a breed of people have
I
COVID so
remember
much. They fucking love that. I swear down, half the office every week, COVID, home.
Yeah.
Buzzing when the government said, nonsense, you have to come to work anyway. They were sick. Yeah, developers.
I see your point though. So
But at that time, it was rife, mate. In our work, it was rife.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you why it was even more important. Reese had it. Reese is that time remember when Reese Hanlon was quarantining in his attic? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Reese spent 2 weeks at New Year in his attic, right? Because his family believed in it big time.
Mm-hmm.
So like Reese for 14 days or 10 days lived in his attic. People were bringing him food. Like he was some kind of like creature to the door. Like it was like no contact, you know, like all that stuff. Wild, mate, like idiots, whatever. Yeah. But Reese had it. And I remember, because I'd been with, you know what I mean, Reese like at work, like Reese isn't a stand away from you type guy.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the warmth of his penis when you know what I mean? Like you can feel the glow off his nutsack. He doesn't know the personal space thing. He doesn't know it.
Yeah, he's very close.
Very close. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's Reese's dick again. Like that's what life's like in Dash, isn't it? Oh, Reese's dick. Yeah.
He keeps his pants on. Just want to make that clear.
He keeps his pants on, yeah, but he's got a very protruding one, so it's exciting at
the
times.
tight pants. Let's put it that way.
Oh, there it is. yeah, there it is again. Hello, sir. I feel like I know it. You know what I mean? I feel like I know it. You know what I mean? I know its grooves. I know which way it goes. It's a left hanger. But at that time, joking aside, Reese had COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So you put this into context. Those days leading up to me going, I was with Reese in his office every day. You know what I mean? Like, and you can imagine me at the time, I was at that point, I don't give a fuck about COVID. Like, I don't believe in it. That's where I was then. Mm-hmm. So like, he had it, but I didn't believe in it. So I didn't care about him breathing on me. Like, I wasn't washing my hands. I wasn't doing that. Like, I just thought, bollocks, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
That's where I was then. It's all nonsense. But obviously at that point in Spain, in that airport on that day, I'm thinking, your business partner, who you've been millimeters away for weeks, is now definitely got COVID and he's not very well because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And you're here, bright red on the screen, you've definitely got COVID.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess so.
So that was in my head. And I was thinking, you're not going to pass this test. You're not going to pass this test.
Look, you did what you needed to do. I think it's class that you got away with that. To be honest, I think that's
that taxi ride in the city, you can imagine, there was a... You put your earphones in, you play your favourite song, you just fucking hell,
pull over, let's get a bottle of champers.
Yeah. Something boy. You know? Something boy. Yeah, good times. Good time. Blagged it like.
Well done.
Yeah, blagged it like.
Well done.
So COVID's back.
COVID's back.
Apparently. I'm hearing cases are rising and I hear a lot of people saying that like they're going to start pushing vaccines again and like, you know, this is what they do in the media. They're very clever. They're like, they don't just go and give you it all. They're like, give you a little bit and see how it goes down. So like, what do you think about that? And then listen to the outcry and and then think, we'll get away with that and then a little bit more. So what do you think about is like just doing like a little bit of lockdown and they'll see how that comes. They won't do it, but they'll test the water.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing now.
Can't Can't see it happening.
I can't see that's a tough sell. That
It is.
I can't
I
see
think
it.
that, like, the money situation across the country at the moment is fucking dire. like a lockdown would fuck everything right up.
It was a disaster. Like the whole thing was a disaster. Like we shouldn't have done that. Like we shouldn't have done any of that. Really, the economy, the businesses, the kids that had a year off school. That's not good.
No,
that's not good. No. Anyway, yeah. So they're bringing it back, but like, good luck with that, mate. Like 95% of people will say "fuck you" to those vaccines this time. 95% of people will say we are not staying in, and 95% of businesses will say no chance, mate.
Yeah,
and they haven't got, other than the military, they haven't got the manpower to stop. 6 billion people. Well, okay, let's say 1 billion people say yes. Not
5 billion.
5 billion people saying no.
Right.
They can't do that,
I guess.
So, yes.
And I don't think we'll even have. I don't think it'll be a problem.
You don't think?
Like, I don't think they'll be asking us to do another lockdown or anything like that. I'd imagine, and I feel like, it's the last time that we had a pandemic before COVID-19.
I never heard of one before then.
Exactly, right? So you think that we're going to have one again, like in the next 3 years afterwards or something like that? I think it seems like bollocks to me. I think that, like, people just like something to be scared of, or,
You've heard the expression, though, where there's muck, there's money. So, okay, we just mentioned things how it was bad, right? A lot of people a few very powerful people made the most money they've ever made in their life off COVID.
Well, the people who made the vaccines and stuff like that, distributed them and stuff, they've done a killing.
Okay, so let's look a bit further. Who has shares in those companies?
Sunak has a few hands in a few pockets,
A few
I believe.
people in some strong positions have some shares in the interest of the profitability of that company. So a few people that are very powerful people, a lockdown and a pandemic is very good for their pockets,
True.
It's against, 99.9% of people, of course, don't benefit from it, and they all lose from it.
Yeah.
But some people do very well, and those people are the people that call the shots.
Yeah, but I'd imagine, where there's a few rich people who will benefit from it, there's a hell of a lot of rich people who also have power, who very much don't. And, these few rich people, if they are going to play that game, they're going to be fucking careful how they play the hand, I would imagine.
Yeah, they do. And I'm not an expert on it.
No.
This is all just regurgitated information through listening to it. But yeah, just
to me, I feel like it's just a lot of people getting scared of something that's not actually going to happen.
Surely they can't try that again.
They can't.
They can't.
I think it's like the next disease that comes around that's a bit obscure. Everyone's going to be like, oh, it's going to be a lockdown again. Someone is fucking moose soup in Canada. Now we're all getting COVID-22 or something like that, and everyone's going to be jumping on the bandwagon and say, everyone wear the face masks again. And it's just,
they were proven to be ineffective, really, for the most part. Face masks.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. Like, you can breathe through them. Yeah. Like, that doesn't work. Stupid. Not you, obviously. I'm just saying, like, people who...
I don't know how much, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it helps a little bit, like... I think people misunderstood what they were supposed to do, though, because it's like... I don't think it stops you from getting the disease by wearing the face mask, but if you have the disease and you wear a face mask, I think it stops you from giving it to everybody else.
I think it does neither, personally. Oh, don't go on the NHS website, mate. It's a sales website, mate. No, mate. Come on, fam.
I thought that was a safe and reputable source.
It absolutely isn't. No. That's absolute nonsense, that, mate. Keep away from that. I guess we wouldn't know what source to look for because you don't know who's affected by what, but case studies would show that they are proven to be almost ineffective on both sides.
Depends whose studies you're reading, sir.
Exactly. Just depends, doesn't it? I don't know. So, I think, again, I'm not being all doom and gloom. I don't think a lot of this was done out of, like, nastiness at first. I think it was done out of, like, not knowing what to do. As much as I'll say I don't believe in COVID and stuff like that, I'm actually in the camp of I don't believe there was any, like, big, like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist where I think there was some big power trying to fuck us all. Like, no, I don't think so. I think we just we just shit ourselves. And everyone was like, wear a mask, get jobs, shit. I think it was coming from a good place.
Yeah.
I just think we were just fucking bang wrong. Like, we were just bang wrong about everything. Shouldn't have got the vaccines. Didn't kill you. And the masks didn't work. But I understand. You had to do something.
I don't know.
I understand.
It all makes sense though, you know. If it's a respiratory disease, put a mask over your face. Seems like it would do the trick.
Put a bit of cloth over your mouth.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I can't look whether the research says it was ineffective or not. I don't think it hurt.
No, I don't think it made it any worse.
You know, making the whole social distancing where you had to be more than 2 meters, like. Also wouldn't have hurt. But then again, you know, if you're in Tesco's, you touch your tin of beans, you've got COVID, and then you think, I don't want that tin of beans, put it back. And then the next person comes around, touches that tin of beans, got your germs on your hand.
This is true.
Easy as that to transfer. So it's like, there's flaws all over, but there's also, you know, you've got to... There are risks and risks, I think, and sometimes
of course.
some of it you've just got to kind of crack on and hope for the best. You know what I mean?
And I think for the most part, that's what we did.
And at least, you know, in terms of handling a pandemic, at least now
we now know
the next time one comes around, we'll be better. I think so.
I think so. If one comes, I think there's been enough controversy, let's just say, that it'll certainly be handled with more care next time.
Yeah.
I think we won't be jumping to any conclusions.
I'd like
next
to believe
time.
that we'll be shit hot at it and be like,
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's just all be sensible this time.
Yeah.
Let's just all have a think. Right, what did we learn?
It was a practice run.
Yeah, it was a practice run. I mean, who knows? Like you say, I don't know what the actual. I think you have to like test a vaccine for like a very long time to get the thingy of it.
Yeah.
But like, even if it happened in the next year or two, like at least we've got 5 years now. You know, a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure more research has been done. I'm sure there is vaccinologist. There's a word I learned during the COVID. Vaccinologist.
That's a sexy word, isn't it?
I'm sure there's vaccinologists now that are, of course, backed by rich people wanting to make money off it. But I'm sure they've done some research which might make it a bit more effective or, you know, a bit of something good from it as opposed to just saying, quick, take this.
Yeah.
You know?
Whack this in your arm.
So, quick. What's it do? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's got some good stuff in though.
Better than bleach, you know?
Yeah, it's better than bleach. Yeah. Funny. You remember Boris Johnson saying, wash your hands and sing happy birthday?
Yeah.
Wow.
2 happy birthdays, man. It's like 20 seconds you got to wash your hands for, isn't it?
That was brilliant. Yeah. I mean, that pretty much sums up Boris, doesn't it? You're like, I know it wasn't his thing, but like, it had to come from him. It seemed better with Boris saying it. Wash your hands and sing happy birthday.
God. Him and Matt Hancock and...
Old Cockhand. He was brilliant, wasn't he?
What a muppet.
I know, yeah.
Muppet.
I know. I like Boris. You know what I always think about politicians, right? Stop trying to find a politician that's going to tell you the truth, right? It's which liar do you want, right? You're getting bullshitted, so do you want do you want the bullshitter in the blue or the bullshitter in the red? So don't judge it on like, their policies, they're going to do this, they're going to put that money into this. It's all bollocks. It's all bollocks, mate. It's a load of shite. Just pick the one you like the best. You know what I mean? I like Boris and I like Trump. Do you know why? Because they're funny. You know what I mean? Because they're funny.
So dangerous, man. No.
They're all shite. They all talk shite.
That's how they get to where they are. People who think like that.
I started to try to see it, but over my life, maybe I've become pessimistic or whatever you call it, or whatever that word is. Through my ripe age of 38, through taking in the world a little bit, I've realised they're all lying.
Yeah.
They all say, we're going to do this, and none of them do it. So what's the point? Nothing happens. It's all lies anyway. You tell me a world leader, right, that came and changed the world through his promises. He said, right, I'm going to do this. When you speak to somebody, right, before they come in power, have you noticed this? Any politician that wants to get in power, the story they're telling doesn't half sound good.
Yeah.
How they're going to do this for that. They're going to do this for that. We're going to get rid of poverty in this country.
Brexit done.
Everything. Like their policy, I guess it would call, their shtick, their sales patter, doesn't half sound good. And they all do. There's a time they're going to fucking sort this country right up. Oh, yeah, fucking I'm backing this guy. Have you seen what he's going to do? Fucking hell. NHS people are going to get paid properly. That there's going to be no more fucking of this, no more of that. Like, fucking, that's the man for me. They never do it. It's always the same. Through my life, I've been through all governments. I've seen Labour governments. I've seen fucking Conservative governments. I've seen it all. Nothing changes. The same problems are there. NHS people aren't paid enough. There's still council estates in the UK with fucking stuff going on. The crime's still there. Nothing's changed. Everybody lies. So fuck trying to look at them and trying to think, oh, I trust this guy. He's got good policies. He's saying the right thing. You're just being lied to. Just pick the one that's funny. That's all you do.
No, you don't just pick the one.
Why
that's
not?
funny.
You might as well have something good out of it.
Look, in the time that the fucking Tory government's been in power, I've been made redundant twice. I'd like to believe
It might
that
be because you were shite at your job. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm fucking class
I
at
know
my
you
job.
are,
Mate.
but that
I'm
might
class
be
at my
one.
job.
You might not have been then.
Right? I know a lot of people who've been made redundant over this period, right? And in my adult life, there hasn't been a Labour government in. I'd like to see that.
In your life, there has.
No, it's in my adult life, I mean.
Right.
Like where I've been taking notice, let's say.
Oh, they're just more bullshitters, mate. No, fuck that, mate.
I would like to believe that there's a
Okay.
there's a side where things could be made better. And I think the thing that and I know what you're going to say, but I feel like politics is slow. None of these things happen fast.
Right.
So I feel like, you see people like Obama, you see your good leaders.
Again, loved Obama. Great thing. First black prime minister, president. Get it. Everything he said didn't happen. Everything saying he wouldn't do, he did. Everything. He was absolutely. That was the worst administration of them all. We're all duped.
Yeah.
We're all duped because we think, oh wow, what a statesman. Yeah, he was. He was the best on camera. He was the best. He was inspiring. He was probably joint worst president they've ever had. He was shite. He went back on everything he said.
I'm
Everything.
sure that there's point of views on this, and I'm not well versed enough, and I don't think you are either, to actually make these calls. However, I would also argue that compared to what we've had with Trump,
Also shite.
Barack Obama set an example. And
Why?
Trump
Did he look
set
good in a suit and spoke properly?
Yeah, and he was
Okay.
also a black president who made, for the black community of America, made a lot of,
I agree.
had a lot of grace and a lot of integrity in
wonderful
everything
guy.
that he did.
Cool as hell.
Absolutely cool, right?
Yeah. So pick the
Trump
one you
brought
like.
in a hell of a lot of misogyny.
Yeah.
He stands by all of that shit,
And
grabbing
comedy.
by the pussy, and he's great and people laugh at him because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
really funny and stuff. And you'd imagine that what influence that has to the people who share them values. They think, the President of the United States believes in what I believe in, so what I believe in is right. And then misogyny is then growing in America as a result of that.
He's
and
only
not just misogyny, racism, and all the other shit that comes with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. That's him as a person.
Yeah.
That's him as a person.
That is not good.
No.
That is not good for America.
No, it's not good.
And you look at, all right, maybe for a lesser, like Boris Johnson was like diet Trump, let's say. It was like Trump light.
But everything we've discussed here, Johnny, right? The points you've just made. You didn't want to talk about anyone's policies.
Because I don't know enough about it to make the argument.
I mean,
But I would hazard a guess that if you look at the policies that have been brought in since David Cameron's day when he took over as the Tory government after Gordon Brown, was it?
yes.
Yeah. I dare say that we're in a worse position than we were back then.
Well, somebody who's been alive through it all seems the same to me. We're not driving on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
We're not,
Would that improve things for you?
No, I'm just saying, I can't point one thing out that's changed. Look, my opinion, they all lie. They all overpromise. Let's say that. Maybe not lie. They all overpromise.
Yeah.
They all say they're going to do this. None of them ever do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Just going into that with Barack Obama. So out of his 25 campaign promises, he accomplished 8.
And what were they?
5 of them were compromised. The 8 that he did...
5 were compromised.
We're just going to point out that we're using PolitiFact as a source of information because,
So this-
we don't know who these are
I don't know who
what
they are.
agenda they run.
They trained and equipped the Afghan army. He did that one.
You mean this could be his party's like website that's backing their man? We don't know what we're
Or the
reading.
complete opposite.
Or the complete opposite. It could be, with them or against him. This is the thing.
That's the same, yeah.
Ethics and lobbying information for voters, required disclosure and awaiting a period for earmarks. So he did accomplish a few, although you said he did none, Dan. He accomplished at least 8 of the 25.
He did nothing of any substance, mate. Said he was going to change all the Iraq war shit. Didn't do any of that. Said the whistleblower thing. I mean, he literally 180 turned on it. Before he got in power, he said he was going to give immunity to everybody that like grasped on the government because it should be free and we shouldn't be all getting lied to. Literally got in office, people had a word in his ear and said, yeah, we won't be doing that, mate. And he was like, oh yeah, changed my mind on that. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And I'm not, look, before I go any further, my favourite president, world leader ever was Barack. He was my favourite, miles ahead. The rest of him, he was so likeable. Loved him, like you say, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, he was cool, he was down to earth, loved him. I wish he was still in power. I don't believe a word he says though. Like, I just like him. You know what I mean? I'd rather, put Jay-Z up there. You know what I mean? Like,
you like him as well.
I like Jay-Z, yeah. Listen, so I've stopped listening to what they're saying because it's all the fucking same. Nothing changes. It's all just ran by a bigger thing anyway. These are just front men. They don't make no decisions, mate. These people you see, they're making the decisions, mate. That's just that's just a puppet they're putting forward for a bit. It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's going on behind the scenes. You can't stop them, man. So stop trying to think that a change of government or a change of leader is going to change how you live and make the world better, because it's fucking not. Just pick the one that's fucking funny, mate. Just pick the funny one. Do you know what I mean? You might as well get something out of it, you know?
I can see both here, so I can see your point, because I believe, lots of people come in and they don't accomplish what they set out to.
No, man.
Johnny, I can also see your point, because, you can't base your whole decision on who should be the minister of any state or government or any country on whether they're funny or not. So I can see both,
I
can see both sides, but I think it's deeper into the fact that a government, controls that individual just as much as they make these decisions. So I think it's a lot internally on the government as well.
Would you agree with me that it seems that whoever is in power, nothing much changes, and double barrel, whoever is in power doesn't seem to follow through with everything that they say they're going to do?
Probably.
Agreed.
Right. So
well,
therefore,
I think the thing that you've got to remember is that, like, when you're in an election battle, the other person's going to say something, and you've got to one-up them, and that's the nature of it, and there's no getting away from that. So, like, say if you using fucking, all right, let's use Biden versus Trump as the example. If Trump says one thing, Biden just plays the honest game and says, I'm going to deliver on everything that I say, but I'm going to say less, which would be the honest way.
Yeah.
Trump would absolutely landslide him.
Of course he
so
would.
he's got a bullshit.
Of course. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's how it's a sales pitch, isn't it? It's a battle.
Yeah.
You just say what you need to say to win.
The nature of politics,
of course.
really. Yeah.
Of course.
That's why you're saying pick the one you like.
Yeah. But like you kind of
like you know what I mean? If somebody lies and says, all right, I'm going to do 25 great things, and then only accomplishes 8, I would still want them 8 great things, opposed to somebody who's funny who does fuck all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, listen, great things, like, they ain't great things. Like the minute, silly things, the things that actually matter, that didn't do.
I would imagine they had an impact. And, even if it's 8 great things,
But
like, you've got to think, we're talking about like individuals here. We're talking about the Sunak, Johnson. They have governments around. They have people around them, and everybody around them has agendas, and they're not all politically aligned with them and what they want. These people aren't dictators.
no.
But
Damn shame.
they get to choose a lot of not all of them, they get to choose a lot of the people around them to help support their decisions. So they choose people who have similar values to them. But not everybody shares their values.
Is that a cabinet? Is that what that is? Is that a cabinet in our country?
I guess so, yes. Yeah, it would be.
Look.
Which means that decisions like, I'm going to make this promise, I'm going to make that promise to try and achieve these great things, once other people's agendas start going into the mix, and you can't know that until you get there, you don't really, promise is a difficult word to make, really.
Yeah.
But I would still say vote for the people who have the better values, because eventually if more and more of those people get put in a position, more and more of those cabinets are going to be filled with people who have good agendas and are going to do the right things for the country and the wider world around us.
Shall I tell you where I sit with this, right?
Go on.
Hang on, let me just write this down so I don't.
I'm aware I'm not going to change your mind here, but I'm exploring the point anyway.
Let me just remember this word, because my mind wanders. But we did all agree collectively that whoever's in power, they never do everything they're going to say anyway. Or they say anyway. They don't follow through completely. For whatever reason, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
For the most part. 70, 80% of what they say, they don't do. For whatever reason. Okay. Do we agree on that?
70 or 80, maybe high. Depends on the person,
Okay.
depends on the
We
situation.
agree that they don't accomplish everything.
Okay.
themselves.
Okay, so would we agree that no matter who you choose, they're doing a similar thing? They're doing some of the stuff they're saying, some of the stuff they're not doing. Would you agree with that?
Guess so.
Okay, so we agree whether you vote blue, red, whatever. I believe it's worse. The scale's bigger than this. I think they hardly do anything they say. But let's just be kind. Let's say that they only do half the things they say, and half the things they do and half they don't.
Yeah.
That's bollocks. But let's just play a game. Let's just say that's what happens. Okay? Okay.
Whatever.
So, whoever you pick, there's your ratio.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the things they all say are pretty much the same things anyway. Everyone says they're going to help the NHS. Everyone says they're going to help poor people. Everyone says they're going to do... It's all the same shit. No one's coming up with new stuff. No one's saying, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to fuck gravity off. Like, we're changing that. Like, no one says that.
I wish they would.
It's always
Just
a combination.
Just for a few months.
It's a combination of help the environment, right? That's number one. Help the NHS, help poor people. That's pretty much what it all is. They're all banging on the same shit. So what do we know is, A, they're all talking about the same stuff anyway. It's just in a blue or a red tie. They have slightly different numbers, but it's all pretty much the same shit. Number two, whichever one you pick, as we've agreed, they're only going to do some of the stuff they say anyway. So that doesn't fucking matter who we choose. It's all fucking same. Do you just like blue or red? What's your favourite colour? Do you know what I mean? And all right, let me word it another way. This is what I don't fucking like, because I've realised this as I've got older. And this is what draws me to Trump, right? Trump is a pompous wally, right?
Yeah.
But he's funny as fuck. But you know why I like him? And there's another one coming up as well, which I'm on the fence with him. That JFK, that Kennedy guy. We'll see. The jury's out with him, but I might like him. I'll get back to you on that. The reason I like Trump is because he's not what 99% of these cunts are, lifetime politicians. So 99% of these people, right, are little rich boys. That's what they are. The little rich boys who don't know poverty, they don't know struggle. They had a lovely life for the most part, went to private school, got pushed through politics from a young age, most of them.
All right. Apart from the politics thing, everything that you just described is what Trump went through as well. He was very privileged.
He was a businessman.
Yeah.
And my belief is that a country should be run like a business. That's what I think. That's how you run a country. And within a fairly run business, you should look after your staff. You should make sure that they're cared for. And that's why I like Trump, because he's different. He's not in this, like, machine. He's not in this politics machine. He'll come out and say, no, like, the FBI is full of shit. And, you know, he's the first person to say that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, because he don't give a fuck. Like, he was a billionaire before politics. He don't care. And I like it. Now, he's probably doing it for his own, like, ego. I get it. He's doing it because he wants to be the king of the world.
You know, I think I agree with the whole idea that it would be good to have somebody who came into politics as a business, to run it like a business rather than as a politician. I agree with that to that extent.
I believe
but
it.
I don't think that I would pick any other businessman than him.
Well, that's the only one you've got. You know, like, that's the only one that's available. It's him.
Then I'll stick with the politicians, mate.
Oh, no, mate. Politicians full of shit, mate. All of them, mate. They're all fucking slime balls, mate.
Oh, yeah. Not a slime ball up there. No way.
At least I believe what he's saying. That's what I say.
Someone
I believe
has
what
to.
he's saying.
And sadly, a lot of Americans are.
Yeah, I believe him. I'm not saying I like him, but, like, I don't believe in all of his values, but I'd rather have someone like, at least I know where I stand with him. At least I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean? At least I know he's not another man behind the curtain. That's who Donald Trump is.
I do like that sort of take on it, because somebody who's came up the ranks and worked their way through politics to get to the absolute top knows what at each level works for that level. So potentially you could see that leader or president doing things to benefit different areas of the government which they once sat within. Now, who am I to give a little opinion on this? I don't really know much about politics.
Well, none of us do.
Somebody who's never really been in it before and was just a businessman, yes, I can see that outlook on it. And
That's the way I see it. I trust him more because he's not part of the machine. I've over my life, I've come to not trust all these people. Like, they've all these politicians, man. Like, they've been politicians the whole life. They're in with a party the whole life. It's all a little bit cliquey, if you ask me. I don't trust anything like that. Like, they're all just for themselves. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he isn't. But what I will get from him is that he's not part of that establishment. He's not part of that. Like, Joe Biden's been a politician his whole life. Like, he's so crooked. He's so corrupt. He's full of shit. Like, he is absolutely... The things he's done, mate. What a fucking liar he is, by the way. Grade A liar. He's crooked as a knick-knack. At least he's just a misogynistic, inappropriate, pompous businessman. I'll take that. You know why? Because I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting. I know what he is. I know who he is. And I know, like, I know when he says something, I know that's what he means. You know what I mean? I know he's not bullshitting me. I'll take that. At least you're getting honesty.
You believe that, man.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree. Just want that clear on the cameras? Nah.
Oh, I pick Trump any day of the week over them lot. A lot of them. Slime balls, mate. Don't trust any of them. Don't like Trump, but at least he makes me laugh, and I don't think I'm getting bullshitted by him. That's what I like.
You don't think you're getting bullshit by him, but you could be.
I could
you
be.
Probably are.
I'll take my chances with Trump over the rest of him because I know I'm getting bullshitted by the rest of them. It's not even a question. I know I'm getting lied to.
You just know.
For a fact. Fact.
Okay.
It's proven.
Is it?
Proven. Yeah.
Give me an example.
Okay. Joe Biden a few years ago was asked whether his son, Hunter Biden, receives money from the Ukraine. He denied it. Says, absolutely not. We take no money from the Ukraine. It's now been proven that he does hundreds of millions. Corrupt, lying.
Can we get the proof, please, Jamie?
Yeah. Fact. Lied. Straight up. And that brings you to the war in Ukraine. He's pushing the war in Ukraine, mate.
What do you want? Do you want BBC? Do you want the United
Has Hunter Biden been paid by China and Ukraine? And did Joe Biden deny it?
Sources claim.
Oh, fact. They've got his bank account statements, mate.
Sources claim. BBC.
Yeah, what was the date on this? Do your own research. They've proven
21st
it.
of July.
They've proven it.
Last month.
Prove it. They've proved it. They've got bank statements now. This is when it was alleged. It's proven now. Fact. Yeah, they have bank statements.
Imagine what money, Trump got from shady deals, though.
Business deals.
That's a business deal.
That's sending troops to die. That's different. That's what it's all tied in with. If you don't take something fishy about somebody getting money from Ukraine, who's a world leader, and then having a war with them, or with Russia.
He hasn't sent American troops in.
No, but he's spent more money in Ukraine in a year than he did on the whole of the Iraq war in 20 years. Seems a bit fishy. Okay, he's not killing his own people. A lot of Ukrainians dying.
He's sending arms there, though. It's a transaction, isn't it?
He is. And and there's money getting exchanged for it as well.
As transactions happen.
Yeah. I'd rather trust a guy that makes some money out of hotels than arms. Just saying. And vaccines.
I would imagine he makes more money out of... Well, the Russian war wasn't going on when Trump was there, so you can only assume what he would do in this situation.
He says he would pull out.
He says.
Yeah, I believe him. I think he would.
Interesting.
I think he would. I don't think he'd send arms there anymore. I think he'd sort it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out because I have a funny feeling...
There's another election coming up, so we'll see.
I can't seem to get the exact fact or
any facts at all.
Evidence. However, there is many reports that
it's been proven now.
In 2014, Russian oligarchs sent $3.5 million to a shell company associated with Hunter Biden.
Yeah, it's all been covered up.
So
it's all shady as fuck.
I can find lots of evidence that it did happen, but no substantial factual.
Well, do your own research at home, and anyone listening, do it, because it has now been proven. It went through a process of, it was a myth. Then it went to the point of where it was like, it's claimed. And then obviously there is people looking into it, and they now have black and white evidence black and white. I believe they've admitted it now that they have, but they've put a reason as to why it was, of course.
Yeah.
But that's gone from categorical no on camera saying no, never. And then that changed to we definitely did. And then when asked about it, just no, next question. Look,
just check your sources, guys.
Check your sources.
The takeaway from here is, I don't know loads about politics. I would never claim to know loads about politics because I don't know lots about politics.
no.
But
And listen, look, don't get me wrong here. Like, we're picking on Joe Biden. He just happens to be the president now.
yeah,
And obviously, because he is the president, all of his shady dealings are getting brought out. There's quite a lot of them.
yeah,
Quite a lot of them. Some lies. Next man, also lie. Also shady.
the man before him.
Probably. Yeah. But we don't actually have any financial crimes. You know why? You didn't need it.
Potentially.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't know that.
there's actually not, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, like, apart from him being racist and misogynist, like, there isn't really any dodgy dealings going on with him. Like, that was never claimed. Like, he didn't start a war. Like, he didn't send arms to any other country. Like,
What did he do?
He created employment in America was the best it had ever been. The economy in America was the best.
I heard it was the opposite by the time it finished.
No, the economy was the best it had been for a long time under Trump. But he's a businessman. That's what you'd expect. He made a lot of money.
That's what you'd expect.
That's what you'd expect. That's kind of his thing. Yeah. Yeah, there's actually, like, from my understanding, from what I hear, like, there was not actually a lot of bad shit. You have to think, Trump kind of had a shit deal. He came into power and it was COVID.
Yeah.
Like, so, like,
That is true.
he didn't get a normal term. Do you know what I mean? It was like hell on.
Yeah.
Same as what's his name? The Wally with our Wally. What's his name? Boris. Yeah, he kind of jumped straight into COVID. So they didn't really get like a good. And do you know what? On the same note, like, because of the COVID thing, I'm not protecting him. I'm saying, like, might be different if he had a straight 4 years. Might be all kinds of dodgy shit. But you can't really take that as a marker because it wasn't a normal time.
Yeah.
But what we do know is the one we've got now, or they've got now, is as crooked as a knick-knack.
Well, this is a fact-check list of Trump's accomplishments from the New York Times. So he signed 3 bills to benefit the native people.
That's Native Indians, right? Yeah.
Native people, I think that's just...
That's Native Indians, that.
Right, okay. He finalised the creation of Space Force as our 6th military branch.
Waste of
Signed
money.
a new law to make cruelty to animals a federal felony.
I'm all about animals, so...
Violent crime has fallen every year since he's been in office.
My man.
Trump signed a bill making CBD and hemp legal.
What's not to like about this guy?
Trump's EPA gave $100 million
See why he appeals to Daniel all of a sudden.
to fix the water infrastructure in Michigan. Seems as though there's a fair bit that he actually accomplished when he was in power. And this is fact checked from the New York
It's
Times.
tarnished because he has such strong opinions and he's a very Marmite character. You either love him or hate him, and that's plays against him because you don't really get people that say, "Oh, I don't mind him." It's either like, "No, I really like him," or "I hate this guy." That's kind of what you get with him, which is fair enough. And in a way, do you know why I like that? Because I feel like that's the marker of someone being themselves. Somebody who like a career politician, they're very good at like making a little bit of everybody like them. Like, look, they're all crooks anyway, mate. A lot of them, they're all crooks. Just pick the funny one, mate. Just pick the funny one. That's the way you do it, mate. I like red. He looks good in that tie, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah,
He looks good.
Yeah, it suits him. The red tie. He looks better in a red tie behind the American flag. It's quite a vivid colour, isn't it? I know there's blue on the American flag, but I always think the red with the red and white stripes looks better. You know what I mean?
I think a nice deep shade of purple would look good on him. Yeah. Balance out the orange a little bit,
Yeah. Look, he's hilarious. He's a weapon, and he's an absolute weapon. But like I say, I'll pick him over.
I always thought we were going to keep these shows kind of light.
No, man. Listen, we started off with a bad first hour. I was half asleep, so I needed waking up. And this is the only way. If that carried on the way it was going, there was no point even editing that. Yeah. Like, that's the way it was going. It was that was a car crash. So I thought, right, let's pick this up here. They're all crooks. A lot of
Some of them are bigger crooks than others.
and some of them are more unlikable than others. So let me give you a little thing here. Trump is a lot more unlikable than Biden.
Unlikable.
Unlikable. More people dislike him.
Yeah.
Biden is more of a crook than Trump. He's a dodgy, corrupt son of a you-know-what.
Again, check your sources.
Yeah, check him. You'd be pleasantly surprised what's actually been found. Look, whatever. So just pick the funny one, mate.
The funny one.
This is all opinion based, but
I mean, it's opinion based with what facts are facts, you know.
Look, I'm not sitting here saying that Biden's a perfect man by any stretch of the
Oh, he's
imagination.
not. No,
No, of course not. But I just think if I was gonna, rather than base it on the funny man, I would rather base it on like the lesser of two evils, I guess.
The lesser of two, in my opinion, the lesser of two evils is Donald Trump. If you're talking about running a country and the positive effects on that.
Which means that you're not basing it on the funny man, you're basing it on the lesser of two evils.
That's what I thought we were talking about.
No, you were saying base it on the funny man.
That's what I pick it on. Do you know why? Because I think they're all full of shit.
Yeah, so you pick the one that's less full of shit.
Yeah, I pick the one I like more. I like Trump. I like watching him. He's fun.
Whatevs, man. Whatevs.
It came from China. I like that guy. I like him.
China.
I like him. Yeah. I like that
Fucking
guy.
hell. Yeah, that's
I believe what he says,
Don't just go for the funny man. He will, but don't.
No.
saying that, he is very funny.
Yeah. For all of those
he
that
is.
aren't, that haven't figured it out yet, in that case, no, pick the one that has the best policies.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Let us know how you get on with them. Because they're shouting 4 or 8 year. How did they get on with them? Let's have a look. The beautiful thing is now, though, I'll tell you what is good. Nowadays, because all this is getting scrutinised more than it ever has, right? There's a lot more access into things and da-da-da-da.
Social media and that, yeah.
Oh, mate, okay, I'm calling Biden a crook, right? Over the next 20 years, there'll be loads of leaders. I like this time because everyone who's a crook, it's all going to come out in the wash.
It gets found out.
All going to come out now. There'll have been, you think, 50 years ago, right? There'll have been some crooked people, some proper dodgepots. But because there wasn't, the ways of thinking, loads of people got away with all sorts.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Loads of people got away with all
shit
sorts.
that we don't know about.
Shit we'll never know
man.
about. It's just got buried. Do you know what I mean?
That's not just politics.
Oh,
That's
no.
every walk of life.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got a camera on them or is famous to some extent.
Yeah.
So if we live,
it's a good thing, really.
Of course
it is. It's a really good thing.
If we live over the next 20 or 30 years, I can't wait to see how all this pans out.
Yeah.
Everyone who comes into power, I'm going to do this. And then 4 years later, watch them crumble.
Yeah.
Just watch. In the end, I reckon people will be like, fuck that, I won't be no prime minister. I don't want to be
you
no
see
president.
what happened to Liz Truss? She's backed out after a couple of months. It's
Brutal.
fuck that.
Yeah.
Can't blame the lass. I would as well.
Jimmy Savile's of the world can't walk.
Well, he was never going to be prime minister,
They can't walk freely anymore. Them sort of, high,
No.
famous people. You can't just get away with it anymore. That's the beauty of social media.
Well, you'd like to think in most cases, or at least some of it's going to come to light, because I think there's still a lot hidden behind the shadows on that front.
Oh my God,
Get into the whole Jeffrey Epstein conversation. We might want to save that for another day.
Can't
but
wait.
fucking hell.
One day that has to come out. Okay. So all the shit he knows, right? For the stuff to be covered up, I put this to you, sirs. Okay, we know shit's gone on.
Yeah,
we know
100%. 100%.
So the only way that's getting covered up is that those people are alive.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would they be covered up?
Yeah.
Or
it
if
would just
they're
come
not
out.
alive, people who are protecting them are alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, eventually they're all going to die, right? And what's the incentive for the next line of people to keep protecting something that happened all that time ago? Oh, would it not get to a point where they think, well, everybody's dead and I could make a lot of money off this story?
Sell a cheeky
It'll all
book.
come out. It might take a generation, but it'll come out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, there'll be some people in big fucking trouble, mate. I'm telling you. There'll be people you'll go, no way, not him.
Not the whole royal family.
Not the royal family. Yeah. God, your mind just boggles, doesn't it? Thinking what's gone on there?
Not Donald Trump. He was so funny. He was so likable.
so funny,
Oh,
not
no.
Trump, Listen, what's he called? I'm not blaming anybody for anything, but wasn't Bill Clinton that guy, wasn't he? There's a few
There's a few photos of them two together.
a few little times Bill
spent a wee bit of time
Clinton,
together.
Yeah, I love America.
Not bad.
I'm all American. No. I love Epstein's Island. And he fucking did. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Some shit's gonna come out, and when it does,
I never thought about that.
It's going to be juicy.
It has to.
Yeah.
Because as it gets more diluted, you know what I mean? It has to. Has
There
to.
is lots of money to be made off that story.
To be fair, I'm kind of amazed that it hasn't come out yet. Like, you think, like, you look at, like, obviously
I'm not.
Epstein being killed in the jail, a big conspiracy, and then Prince Andrew's fucking interview about it. Like, that fucking car crash. You would think, like, the floodgates would just have opened after that.
Brings us back to the first point. Everyone's got a price,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh, circle in the background. I
Yeah,
like it.
everyone's got a price. And for that not to come out, because what that could do to people, what that could do for not just people, the people that these things are connected to, this could be, you think this could affect businesses, economies, countries. Like, how vast is this? If it's as vast as it's been thought to be, this, and that the cost and the price of that, there's unthought of wealth we're talking about here. There could be, like, I'm not saying there is. There could be, like, some of the world's most richest people, sheikhs, like oil merchants and shit. You don't fucking know. Do you know what I mean? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But, like,
Well, they're not public figures. We don't even know who these people are, you know?
and also
like,
the price, like, could be, like, death in it. Like, he got fucking killed. He got killed in prison, mate.
Yeah.
Like, first person to speak about this, like, oh, no, I'm not going to kill you.
Yeah.
We're going to kill your children. Like, people might have been told,
Yeah.
oh, you love your kids. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're the only person that knows this.
That's your price.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
Price
need a
of
generation.
silence.
I think this is that. I think that this, in my opinion, this is that big, and it is that bad, and affects that, or includes, or has something to do with people that are too powerful, and it's too big of a thing that I don't think it's going to come out. And I'm not surprised it hasn't come out yet, because it's not just
suppose
like
you're right.
R. Kelly getting grassed up for pissing on a girl. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not just that.
Yeah.
This is going to
it's a
take a generation.
It's like a secret society kind of jobby, isn't it?
Yeah, we're talking something off its. God, that's a nice island.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? As far as islands go, that one looks pretty.
You got island money. Imagine island money.
Just that island's mine.
yeah, I've just.
Like, you look at a picture of the world map and just go, boop, that's mine.
Do you think it'll? I don't know. Do you think it'll come out in our lifetime?
Hope so.
Do you?
Probably not.
I hope it comes out after I've died.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to. Look, I don't. I'm already a cynical person, right? I am pessimistic. I don't really trust society. You know, I don't. Right? I'm very, very suspicious about everybody now. I don't want to know, because what little hope I have left, what little hope I have belief in
Don't
this
put
world
out
and the
the
people.
flame.
Yeah, like,
You won't even be the funny guy to vote for.
Yeah.
what if world leaders were involved in this? What if people, like, from, because he's been connected to a lot of people, like CIA people and things. Like, come on, fam. Like, what if it's like things like that? Like, what? Like, these are the people running the show. Like, what hope do you have? Like, what? Like, it could be that big that there could be a fucking uproar. People could just be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like you don't know how big this is. And I hope me and my kids and their kids, I hope we're all gone. You know what? I hope it never comes out. I hope it never comes
Blissful
out.
ignorance.
I hope so.
Just keep it to your fucking
I hope
self.
so. I think it's better for everybody that it doesn't. If you want people to keep some belief, look, I don't know how big it is, but let's just imagine it is the scenario I've got in my head, that it is so big that it's you beyond your imagination, which isn't out of the question.
Yeah.
If it is, isn't it best that gets buried, like, for the goodness of humanity and society and order, you know?
Maybe. Well, as long as it stops and it doesn't keep on going.
Well, he's dead, isn't he?
Well, he is, but he could have just been a small pawn in a bigger. Which I know his name was on the island, but like.
Hey, look, there was this thing said that, like, he actually wasn't the ringleader. He was just the organizer.
Yeah.
He organized it, sort of thing. Yeah. The thing is, he's just a what's it called? A link in the chain.
A cog in the machine.
Yeah, and he wasn't the top guy or guys, like you said. Again, nothing's proven yet, but just looking at it on paper, it seems as though there was a big network, and like he was a crucial cog in this network. So like him being the middle. So let's imagine there's all these big people, all filters down like an hourglass to Jeffrey. And under the bottom part of the hourglass was the girls and the network. Him and Ghislaine were there. That's kind of the way, if I was to guess, it looks. Mate, I want to know what's up there. I want to know. Don't tell me people like Bill Gates. Don't tell me people like world leaders and top CIA people and sheikhs. And don't tell me stuff like that's been going on, mate. I don't know, mate. No, don't tell me that's the case. What hope is there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where'd you go from there?
I mean, you already know that we're the baddies, though. You've told me this a few times. We're the baddies. I suppose you want to be the baddies, but you don't want to be full on the baddie baddies.
Mate, there's a difference, right, between going raping and pillaging and stealing than what they go up to. Like, nah, mate. It's a bit different, mate. Well, do you know what? Look, I'm giving him a bit of slack. He was fucked up. But there's worse, isn't there? There's like, okay, there were teenage girls, 15, 16, 17, stuff like that. Illegal and horrendous, but like there is worse than that. So I'm going to give him some slack. I'm going to give him 1%. Like, look, and I've said this before, some people, this is like a topic that a lot of people like, but like, I think there's a difference, mate, between like a 4 and a 5-year-old and a 15 and a 16-year-old. You know, the girls in Jeffrey's life were 16, 15, I think one was 14. Yes, it's wrong, but to me,
it's
10 years below, that's more wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get it's still wrong. There's wrong and there's fucking wrong.
It's a very controversial topic. Some people would say, no, it's all wrong.
Yeah.
Anything under 16 is wrong. Okay, yeah, that's your opinion. Okay, and I'm not disputing that it isn't. It's as illegal, you know? Yeah. It's as illegal.
I know, but then you hear a story like the singer from Lost Prophets. Do you hear about Ian Watkins?
No.
Conspired to rape a baby. Like, fucking hell. That is fucked.
Is this the guy?
Yeah.
Looks like Dracula. Right.
Yeah. He was stabbed recently, actually, in prison.
Right. Oh, there's the man. There he is.
Nodded off to get it, and I love that.
There he is. Go down, champ. There he is.
There he is.
I don't recognise this guy.
You'll know the song, like Standing on the Rooftops, Everybody Scream, hard out. You ever heard that one?
Oh, yeah. That's him, is it?
That's him, yeah.
Look,
13 offences.
Each to their own, innit? Like,
including the attempted raping of an 11-month-old baby. Fucking hell.
Look, I mean,
I hope there's none of that connected in there. If that's like a big web of people doing that shit, that's fucking dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If it's like 14, 15, 16, it's still wrong. It's very fucking wrong. But it ain't the same. It's a different kind of fucked up.
I think it's my opinion. Some people might not share that opinion, but my opinion, it's one's wrong, one's you should be tortured to death for it. I think 14, 15, 16, you're in prison for a long time, champ. I think 10 years below that, I think you should be tortured over the course of a year until you die.
Yeah.
That's what that deserves. Keep you alive with as long as I can in the most pain as you can, because that's where you sit with that. So I'm going to give Jeffrey some slack in that there doesn't seem to be anything in that area, but still, it's 16 for a reason, brother.
It's disgusting, man.
Yeah, man. But I do hope I never find out what he's done. Or if I do, I hope it's not even that bad. Like, he's just had like 2 or 3 people. Let's just imagine it was because we talk about this great big vast thing.
Yeah.
But what if it just turns out it's like, I keep using his name, but it might not be him. Like Bill Gates, somebody else. You know what I mean? Like,
it might be like a group of 5 people.
Yeah, 6 or 7 of them. Like, okay, tell me that. That's still like, ooh, like, wow. Yeah. I just fear the bigger picture.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
It's the not knowing. I feel like for all you don't want to find out, I just want to find out just to confirm with us. Please just confirm with us this doesn't get any bigger than like a group of, let's say 10.
That's what
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that. Let's just can we just have that confirmed that it was just a few of them?
Yeah,
fair enough. You rascals.
Yeah,
but
you rascals.
Yeah, let's not.
No, I hope they all go to prison and serve life sentences. I hope they go away for a very, very long time because, for all we maybe cut him a bit of slack for not being a baby, it's still fucking wrong. It's very,
yeah.
very wrong.
Yeah. But you can't, this is the thing, like, with it being quite hard to uncover, and like this guy getting killed in prison and the list that exists not being published, you kind of think like, no, it's not going to be a few people, is it?
No.
It's going to be a lot.
This is my thing. There's so many images of him with very, very well-connected people. That's Ghislaine Maxwell with Elon. Like, they were very, very well-connected across the whole of America for a long time.
Oh, there's my man with him. Middle one, a young Trump.
He's funny though.
It's just
Yeah, there's quite a few of Bill, isn't there? Not Bill, what's his name? What's his name again? Clinton.
Clinton, yeah.
Clinton.
It keeps cropping up, that one. doesn't it?
Look, let's not say this, right? Just because you get your picture taken with someone, he was a socialite.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a
He's going
socialite.
to events that they happen to be
Every
at. It
party,
doesn't
so I'm-
necessarily mean
no.
that they've been visiting the
I'm not
island.
saying that, no.
Some of them will have.
Yeah. I guarantee you,
Oh no! You
some-
see, that's the thing that I hate. Like, you know,
like him.
I love. Yeah, I really like Michael Caine. I really hope
Me
it's
too.
not Michael Caine. Like
So, yeah, you can't associate every photo with...
that's why I want to know, just to confirm that there are some good people in this,
yeah.
in these photographs.
Let it not be that bad, please.
Yeah.
Like, if there is a God, please let it not be that bad.
No, I know.
Please let it just be a couple of
It
them.
would be.
Like, please. Oh, no, to get that off bad pictures, man. I don't want to see that
mate,
shit.
no.
Come on, fam. Yeah. You never know.
Fuck.
If it's culpable, then yeah, I'd like to find out.
Mm-hmm.
To be shocked. But if it's not, please don't let any of us ever find out. It's probably better that we don't find out, to be fair. Yeah.
I think we covered that conspiracy.
Yeah, we've touched on it before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, once or twice. It's
I got a little topic for you. I'm going to go for piss again.
yeah, I need one too.
It's going to be first times, right?
First times. Oh,
But
first.
something me and you touched on the other day. Pre-first times. Remember our conversation in the car? We'll come back to it. How was your piss?
Oh, it was lovely, mate.
Was
yeah.
it?
Yeah, steaming.
Caffeine piss.
Just you know what? Poorly hydrated. I should probably get another one of these, but
Bright colour, was it?
it was too yellow for my liking.
Was it?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a clear flow.
Well, I want to just talk about something, right? And I'll tell you where it came about. It's funny how things happen. So, when I was a little boy, say, I don't know, 14, 15. Yeah, 14, 15, something like that. Maybe even 13 even. I had,
you.
you know, you have your first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't sexually active then. I was a little boy, right?
Yeah.
And me and Southpaw in the car the other day, we were talking about something called fanny fright. And I hate to say this, you know, it's quite a crude thing to talk about, but I'm talking about it.
Fanny fright.
It's you know, you understand what that is, no?
Explain, recap for us.
So my understanding of what fanny fright is, it's a younger person normally. It doesn't have to be a younger person, but it's somebody who has a lot of anxiety towards intimate contact with, I mean, it doesn't have to be the opposite sex, depends what you like.
Yeah.
With a partner.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it could be dick fright.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ass fright. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know, whatever you get up to. But funny fright, it was something that I had, right? And other boys had it. And I can remember a story, right? I remember a time, and the reason I'm talking about this is because for the first time in like 30 years, no, 25 years, you know that story I told you, Southpaw, about stood over the pub? No, I passed her the other day.
No way.
Swear down. And you know what? She looks older and like, she's like a grown woman now.
Yeah,
But
totally.
I passed her and I haven't seen her since we were kids.
So this was a girl that you dated at school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, right, being, as I say, 13, 14, and I had a girlfriend who was the same age as me, right? I won't name drop or anything, but we were at the snogging phase. You know, like snogging and all that,
Yeah.
you know? And, mate, she was way too, I weren't ready for it, right? She was advanced. I can remember, like, I used to live opposite a pub, right? And she called for me, And I used to avoid her. Like, I was terrified. I was terrified. She'd call the house. I'd tell my mum, tell me I'm not in. Like, my mum knew I had funny fright. You know what I mean? I was just terrified. Like, because she was too forward. Like, that wasn't for that at that point. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was interested in football and stuff. And I can remember going stand. She always had a chaperone with her, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a friend on her own as well, strange. So there'd be these two girls. One of them was the girl I was seeing. And we'd go walk around the back of this pub and start, doing that 14-year-old kiss,
Yeah.
the 14-year-old kiss, so no one knows what they're doing. We'd be doing that. And yeah, I had no interest in not only kissing her. I don't know how we ended up with it, because I wasn't interested in girlfriends. We ended up with a girlfriend. I think half my mind knew, like, you're supposed to be after girls, but half my mind was like, yeah, but I could be playing football, And I can remember she'd be like, trying to, like, say, advance on me. You know what I mean? Trying to advance. Trying to put her hands in my, in my front bottom.
Oh,
you know what I mean? She was,
dear.
What I mean?
Little Daniel wasn't ready for that.
That wasn't for that. Like, I hadn't developed yet. Do you know what I mean? I was just a little boy.
No pubes there.
No, there was nothing there. And I was terrified. And I can remember, like, dreading, like, because I knew she was going to try and do it. And, like, I had no interest in touching her there. I don't care about that. Do you know what I mean? And I remember, like, she'd try and thing it. And do you know that? And I've got to go, bye. And I'd go home. You're like, mate, I was terrified of it. I was terrified of it, man. And I just wondered, because you had it too, right?
I had it too. Obviously, girls develop a lot faster than boys do.
Yeah.
And I was especially late in the development.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was a boy till I was 19.
Yeah, so I hit it very, very late on. So I was very pubescent.
Adolescent. Yeah.
Adolescent.
You're a little boy.
Holding me back, and I had this so-called fanny fright.
Yeah.
And I was terrified because girls were making advancements, and it was the time to do these things for the culture, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself, so I found myself doing what you did, just like did the old tuck, ran away, just.
Yeah, like half my mind knew that this is what I wanted.
Yeah,
like I was caught between two. Well, same as you, I imagine. Like your brain was telling you, yes, girl, like girl, but like once it got real, it was like, oh, don't like this. No. Can we not just hold hands? Yeah. Can we not just like not do that? I'm guessing by looking at your face, you were a warrior from 14 onwards, were you?
I'm just thinking back to the 14, 15 age. Yeah, it never really struck me as a problem for us.
You never got fright?
No, yeah, really. Yeah. Totally just like...
you, mate. Jesus, Wilson.
Like, yeah, this is interesting. It's never really phased as a...
Have you heard of it before?
No.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it was just for us late developers.
Not as described as fanny fright, but I've definitely I understand the concept of what you're describing. But like,
I knew the boys my age that did not have fanny fright. I knew boys my age in my school that were up to all sorts of that age, and I always I guess it probably messes with you as a kid, as probably why you end up fucked up when you're older, But like looking back, they were probably very more physically advanced, shall we say. Whatever you say. Yeah,
like I'm not saying I was like the let's say the height of confidence or anything like that in anything that I was doing by any chance, but I think when it's when occasions kind of cropped up, I feel like I was always kind of just threw myself in at the deep end and just like, oh yes,
easy work, no problem.
Yeah.
Never.
I think I don't know whether it's because it's like a younger brother thing where I kind of, because I knew what not that I knew the details of what my older brother was getting up to by any stretch, but I just assumed, oh, he's probably he's probably done this sort of shit, so I should too, or not fall to. No, I should try and keep up, kind of thing. I
can see how that can change things. Actually, can you imagine having an older brother? And as you've grown up, you were a little boy looking at him, he had girlfriends, stuff like this. You've watched it play out.
Because we both have
little sisters. Yeah.
There's a difference. That's interesting.
Yeah, that could be something in that.
That's a good point. Maybe
I never thought of that.
Boys have fanny fright that don't have an older brother.
Well, definitely not all.
Maybe my older brother went through it because he didn't. Yeah.
Maybe.
Guidance is key in them younger years, and you're not going to get your guidance off your mother or father at 14.
No, it's not their business, is it?
Not that I got direct guidance off my brother either.
Just observation.
Observation, yeah.
Observation.
Based on that, yeah.
Yeah. I just wondered, it's something that I definitely had. Again, I don't know whether it was linked to slow development. Don't know.
Most definitely for me, 5'7" on a good day.
5'7" on a good day. I mean, to be fair, Southpaw, I was 5'2" till I was about 15. Not even that, 17. I was a late bloomer, like.
Just had a growth spurt one day. Just
Yeah, I was like the shortest guy in my year, about 1, I think.
Wow.
I was really short at school.
Now.
Yeah, all silver and that. But nah, yeah, I just wondered, like, did anybody else? I know you did, but I passed that girl the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still looked at. Nah, I looked
Did she
away.
recognise you?
Nah, I still have fanny fright, don't I?
Yeah.
You know, I still look at her and just think, oh fuck no, you know.
You know.
I always
No.
find it a weird thing when you pass like people that you used to like date in school, because it wasn't really like a real relationship. I always felt, you know,
No.
like you look back and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, we were a thing. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I had it fucked for the first few years. Like, pretty much everything I got myself into, like, it didn't even fucking work. Like, for a while, like, I first got out of fanny. You know, I was in fanny fright first. Okay, we'll talk with that. That's where it started.
Okay.
Then when it finally got like to the point where I was able to start, you know, carrying out the acts, let's just say, being involved, it would fucking work. Like, for years this went on. Like, years, man. Like, I'd have to, like, try with them like a few times, you know, before, like, I was nervous. Nerves got the better of me. Like, bad. Like, you know, like your heartbeat. I can remember, you know, literally, and people saying, you all right? You know, just terrified. Terrified.
When you first started, do you remember your first time?
Yeah. Do you?
How old were you? Yeah, I remember my first time. I was actually very late.
17, something like
I
that?
was
Yeah.
17 as well.
Yeah, I was about that.
17. Everyone else in college had been there, done that, got a t-shirt. I was still looking for a t-shirt.
Yeah, I was 17, yeah. I remember. My sister's friend it was. It was like offered to me on a plate. It was easy.
Yeah.
I think have you told it on here before?
It was a
I don't know.
sleepover.
Yeah.
It was it was easy. Like,
That's like it's honestly it's kind of the perfect situation.
Yeah,
It's
it was
exactly how you
brilliant.
wanted to go down.
it was, to be fair, because I knew, in hindsight, right, it was actually the best thing, because I knew this girl for years. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd known her for 4 or 5 years before. She was my little sister's best friend.
Yeah.
You know, I was 17, she was 16. Like, I knew her. I wasn't shy around her. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just, yeah, it was just offered on a plate. It was just one night, and I knew what was going down. You know, there'd been a build up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I knew it was going down. I opened the door. She just, and that was it. I mean, I was, you know, no idea what I was doing, like, but
You don't laugh?
17. It was a house party sitch.
was
And
it?
yeah.
Oh, American.
No preparation then.
Not so much.
Was it a girlfriend?
It was. Well, it was after that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it a one night standy at first?
Kind of thing, yeah.
Was
A little
it?
bit, yeah. It was one of the ones like my mate had. He had a garage that was like detached from his house,
All right.
and that was like where we used to just everyone would meet up there and we'd just get smashed and it would be great.
Yeah.
And then we had like it was like a sleeping bag situation, and yeah,
Close
it
quarters.
was
One
close
of them,
quarters.
was
Yeah,
it?
it was good. One of
Never.
them, yeah, it was good.
Jesus, other people around and that.
Far enough away.
Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I like that. That's very American.
Yeah,
Sounds like American Pie,
I guess so.
doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I never thought about it like that, but yeah, you're right. It is.
You know, the nerve thing, I don't think I got out the nerve thing till I was like my early 20s. I think I was still like a little bit anxious up until my early 20s, I think. Yeah. I'm guessing that I'm not alone on that then.
No, I think for me, it was first time I was 17, and then a few more times after. I think I was about 18, late 18 or early 19.
When you started to chill out a bit.
It started, but it's just everyone does this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me it was more like one rather than it being like a few years. I think it was more like once I finally got to a point where I was having like regularly,
Yeah.
like because I think until probably like past like 19, it was probably more like intermittent where it would just be on the occasion.
Here and
Whereas
there.
I think once it was like a solid relationship or anything, it was like, and I was doing
Same,
it
I think.
regularly.
I think same for the most part.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was with me. First couple of times, as you say, intermittent, just the odd random shuffle somewhere.
Yeah,
But then eventually you get a girlfriend, and you settle down a bit, don't you?
yeah.
You relax. Yeah. Awful. I'd hate to go through that again.
Yeah, so would I.
Awful.
I'm
Yeah.
happy you were past that stage, Daniel.
Yeah.
Johnny, I'm happy you never had to go through it.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not easy times.
No, mate. Fanny Fright's a bitch. Yeah.
You know, not to say that I wasn't breaking it through these things, but like when things needed to happen, I was,
Good to go.
I get the fucking job done.
Yes.
Maybe down the good side.
No, we ran away, mate. Ran away. Sat in our
Good
bedroom.
troopers
you know.
follow orders, you know.
Yes, mate. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, well, with that, I think we've touched on everything we need to touch on today. Would you say?
Yeah, I think so. We've covered some bases there.
We've covered some bases.
ground, man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's been a pleasure making angry eye contact with you, Johnny.
Yeah, it's been frustrating.
Yeah. Thank you.
Lovely.
There's no good side.
Don't wait, looking at me like that again. Did that look again? You see him? He gets that look in his eye all the time.
In the comments, not you two.
You can, I'm all right, mate. I'm drinking
right.
plenty of water.
It's all right, mate.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, vote Trump.